It's been 2 weeks to the day since a train carrying chemicals derailed in East Palestine, Ohio. Now, not too far away, another Norfolk Southern train has derailed just outside Detroit. Reuters reports that 6 of the 30 cars that were part of the load came off the tracks, one of which was carrying liquid chlorine. Local Belleville fire authorities said that so far there were no signs of any leakage from the derailed cars, which is good news, considering the rail track's proximity to the nearby Belleville Lake. FEMA and Michigan's Department of Environment, Great Lakes Energy, and local security authorities have all been notified, and there are currently no reported injuries associated with the derailment. This all comes as many are calling for increased accountability for Norfolk Southern and its leadership. Since the initial Ohio train derailment, dozens of rail workers have come forward telling news outlets about concerning rail situations, specifically cost-cutting measures like precision scheduled railroading, a method of increasing the maximum capacity of trains by increasing loads, increasing train lengths, and cutting inspection times.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest channel and podcast. And if you are listening to this on the podcast platforms, please do go ahead and subscribe for more content like this. And if you are on YouTube, I'd appreciate you hitting the subscribe button. And while you're at it, go ahead and hit that like button. It's like walking into the room and hitting that light switch. We just want to go ahead and brighten up the place. And let's get into this podversation. I wanted to talk about this Norfolk Southern train derailment story because, as you heard, there was another train derailment. There was one that happened in Ohio that there were hazardous chemicals that spilled, and it has been affecting residents in East Palestine, Ohio. And there has been so much information about people possibly having health concerns, animals dying, animals being affected. It was just a crazy situation. The plume of butyl acrylate, a compound used in paints, plastics, and other products that leaked into the Ohio River after the East Palestine train derailment, they're saying it's dissipated, but it's happened. And we all know that when situations happen, which I don't even want to call it an accident, I believe it's a failure based on wrong and bad decisions. When situations like this happen, the immediate effects, there may be some, but the after effect, well after this situation has been cleaned up, so to speak, and months and even some years has gone by, people are still going to be greatly affected by this. The story was that an eastbound Norfolk Southern Railway freight train derailed in East Palestine, Ohio, February the 3rd, causing damage to about 50 cars, 11 of which contained hazardous materials. Vinyl chloride, a gas contained in 5 of the cars, was released and burned to prevent an explosion, causing toxic fumes to be released in the area. Residents were allowed to return home last week and were told they could safely drink water, but then they were told, you may not want to drink that water. After they were told that they could drink the water. And listen, even if they were told that, I'm not sure if any of those people really listened to that about, it's safe to drink the water at first, because I'm sure that they were not sure if that was something that they wanted to do based on how bad the area was greatly affected. But quote unquote officials, they said, we do believe that there's no reason to be concerned about water from the Ohio River, and there's never really been a reason to be concerned. What? Like, if you saw the pictures and the video footage of that billowing black clouds of smoke that was coming up from those trains being derailed, you've got to be kidding me for someone to say that they never believed that there was a concern. So the reason why I wanted to talk about this story, because yes, it is extremely devastating that this happened. It happened near a small town. And unfortunately, there are a lot of small towns in the United States where people, especially those in government, don't really care much. They don't consider the people, that these are actual human beings that have lives. they may not see them as important as their own family or the haves versus the have-nots, so to speak. It's a crazy situation that this happened, and they are asking for federal disaster funds to be distributed to the people in this area. But from the last time I heard, the Biden administration turned it down. And the reason I believe that they turned it down, I'm not saying that it's okay, because these people need to get help and they need to get support. I believe they turned it down because this isn't a federal government disaster, so to speak. This was caused by failures of Norfolk Southern, and they need to hold Norfolk Southern accountable. And so the reason why I wanted to talk about this is I believe the reason that this happened is because this was something that was in the works to happen for a while now. You've got people who have been working with this company for many years. A lot of these people since the pandemic have, previous to the pandemic, have been working with the company for many years. So a lot of these people are older. Some may not be very old, but they've been there for a long time, and they decided that, you know what, I'm out of here. I want to do something different, or I'm retiring and I'm leaving. And so this is definitely due to a lack of bodies, a lack of people to be in the positions that they need them to be in to do the work that would prevent a disaster like this from happening. And because they have been pretty much desperate to hire people, and the reason I know this is because I don't know anyone that worked with them personally, but I do have a family member that worked with another railroad company for a period of time, which was CSX. And this person told me a lot of the things that have been happening with not just CSX, but also Norfolk Southern. They have been hiring people who are not qualified. They have been making it easy for these people to go through the quote unquote training period, passing the tests, and they're not getting the training on the job that they need in order to sufficiently do the job. And those who are at the tippy top of the organization, those who are the ones making the decisions for the company, they have made things a lot more lax in terms of the hiring process and bringing people on, because they're pretty much desperate to keep the business and the company going so that they can continue to get their money. So it's really a failure at the top, and those people who they have been bringing on board to work at the company not getting the proper training that they need in order to operate with this company. So this actually was in the works and bound to happen. So when I saw this story, I saw this story over a week ago. I didn't talk about it immediately because it just really made me sad. And then because I know of what I've heard about that has been happening at a lot of these different railroad companies, they're pretty much desperate these days. So people who may not have been able to come and work at these companies years ago, they're allowing them to come on board. And hey, I'm all for people getting a chance to work in a company that is going to help to give them a boost up in life in terms of the financials and things like that. But to just bring people on board the team and say, oh, well, we don't have time to train you. Just do this, just do that. And you're just having bodies, but they're not qualified to do the work. Then this is the type of stuff that's going to happen. And this is probably not going to be the last time, because if you didn't just hear the story that I just played at the beginning, that wasn't about the train derailment that happened in Ohio. Another one just happened in Michigan by the same company, Norfolk Southern. So yeah, that story is that there's definitely an issue going on with this company that needs to be addressed. Because to have another Norfolk Southern train that's carrying hazardous chemicals that derails in Michigan, where is it going to happen next? And so there's going to be some major lawsuits that are going to be coming down the pipe. I unfortunately don't think that the people of Ohio and now Michigan can hold the government responsible for this, because yes, the government and the railroad companies, they do have some semblance of a connection, but these are private entities. Norfolk Southern is, at least. So we will see what comes of this, but the company itself has already lost an immense amount of value since this has happened. I want to say around 500 million in value that they're saying that the company has already lost since this has happened. And look, I don't care about the company losing value. I care about the people who have been affected. And now these people have been waiting outside of a Norfolk Southern office waiting to collect $1,000 checks to reimburse them for being inconvenienced. I would be hesitant even with that, because coming from a place of being a former legal assistant, a lot of times when situations like that happens and they're giving you money, quote unquote, giving you money, you have to be careful. And actually, I stand corrected. They're saying that about $5 billion in market value has been wiped out for Norfolk Southern since the Ohio train derailment. And now you've got another one that happened in Michigan. So they better get on these lawsuits. But I was saying, when it comes to them accepting money from Norfolk Southern in this way, giving these people a $1,000 check, does that come with them signing an agreement to say, in exchange for accepting this money, you agree to hold Norfolk Southern not responsible for any lingering issues that you may have today or in the future? And you agree not to sue Norfolk Southern? You know, the country, especially companies like this, when it comes to them supposedly helping people out, there's just so much corruption that happens with that. I would just be very careful. But again, I'm not an attorney. I was a legal assistant for 12 years ago. And when I see stories like this, I immediately just start thinking that the legal assistant in me just starts to think, and my mind went to them accepting a $1,000 check from Norfolk Southern. My concern with that is, are they wiping out their rights to come after Norfolk Southern for any injuries that they have sustained because of this situation happening? I know we live in a sue-happy country. I always call it the Sue SA, because people will sue for any reasons. A lot of times, even if they really don't have the right to do it, a lot of people just do it. And a lot of people don't want to hold themselves accountable or personally responsible for things that may have happened in their life. But in situations like this, somebody's got to be held accountable. And I don't believe that these people should not be compensated to the fullest extent that they deserve for a disastrous situation like this happening, because those are dangerous, hazardous chemicals. And I mean, what are these people supposed to do? Like live in hazmat suits and gas masks for, for months or years on end? Like, that is absolutely crazy. And for them to have to uproot their lives and go where? Like, who's going to pay for that? It's just a bad situation all around. We will see what comes of this, but I really wanted to talk about this and say what I believed was the real reason why this happened and why this probably will happen again if that company culture does not change and they don't make some changes at the top. Because this happened because of what's going on at the top of the company and the top of the infrastructure. Yes, there's definitely a lapse in those who are handling the trains and who are working on the railroads and who are doing all of those things, not just those who are in the corporate offices for sure. But a lot of those people don't know what they're doing because they have not gotten the proper training. Because you know what? Those people at the top, they have people that they have people and they have people, and those people that are lazy, don't want to do the work. They're just saying, oh, well, this is all you have to do. Just do that. Just do this. I've heard about it from someone that has worked on the railroads, and that person that I'm speaking of actually quit because they were like, look, the money is good, but I can't work like this. I'm not even getting the training that I'm supposed to be getting. And this is absolutely crazy because this is very hard work and things need to be done in the proper way. And also, it's not safe. It's dangerous work. So to hire people, have them working in hazardous conditions and in dangerous places, and they're not getting the training that they're supposed to get in order to operate this company the way that it should be operated in the trains, then the reason this is happening is just because the people at the top just want to keep getting their paychecks. And that's it. So guys, I just wanted to talk about that. And I would really love to know what you guys think about it. So you can let me know your thoughts respectfully in the comments section. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. This is Beth, and I'm just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I just wanted to keep it brief, keep it beautiful. And until the next time, I'm going to say bye.